What is going on, YouTube? We are back with the Prez Monday, back at home turf, back here in Juniper Park. So I mentioned to you guys in the last video, I'm pretty sure I mentioned to you guys that I've been getting way too light for my liking recently. And again, it's because I've been really focusing on, my training's been there, but I've been playing a ton of pickleball lately. And I don't like how my physique has been. I built up, I got over 170 a year ago. 178 pounds this past winter. Granted, I had way too much body fat, right? I didn't look good. I wasn't aesthetic, right? I had way too much body fat that I was accumulated, and I cared too much about the numbers. This summer, I got lean. I got into the best shape of my life. But these last few weeks, with the excessive playing, I just been under eating. Again, I just felt like my physique kind of like slithered away a little bit. So the high rep training is not going to be productive for me to reverse that right now. What's always been the best for me to put on size is lower volume training. And I would always resort to either, going back to the gym, weightlifting, or the way to calisthenics. I'm gonna be doing it a little bit differently now, guys. I'm gonna still be focusing on calisthenics, weighted sets as well, but I'm gonna also be focusing on a little bit more on strength and skill work. So today's gonna be a push-pull upper body, low volume, strength and muscle building session. We're gonna start with something you haven't seen me do in a long time, guys. Well, actually, I was doing them down in Georgia, but I haven't done them on these bars in a long time. Let's get right into them. All right, so first part of the routine, we're gonna be doing handstand press-ups on the dip bars. I'm gonna aim for 8 to 10 total sets. Now you're gonna say in your head, oh, 8 sets, 10 sets, that's high volume. It's not high volume when you're only doing 1 rep. You have to accumulate sufficient amount of repetition and volume on a movement like a handstand, press up, or a handstand, or any type of skill movement, right? Because you have to build those neurological adaptations in the body. And just doing 1, 2, 3 sets ain't gonna do it. You might even get better towards the middle sets because your nervous system starts to fire up. It starts to understand the movement pattern. I got my weights with me also, so like I said, it's gonna be push-pull routine today, guys. We're starting off, like I said, a minimum right now, 8 press-ups. Let's go. All right, guys, getting into the 3rd set, and I'm taking minimum 3-minute breaks. Remember, like I said, this is strength building. Strength building, let's just say general strength parameters, right? You're doing sets of 1 to 5 reps, right? Depending on your percentage of your 1 rep max. So if you're doing sets of 1 only, that means the weight is heavy enough, it's so close to your 1 rep max percentage that you can only do 1 rep. If you're doing sets of 5, the weight will probably be closer to like 80 or 85% of your 1 rep max, because if it was any heavier than that, you wouldn't be able to do 5 reps, right? And in order to continuously be able to produce that effort for multiple sets, you have to rest sufficient amount of time. Because remember, strength work is all dependent on the ATP and the phosphocreatine systems. And if you don't let the ATP and the phosphocreatine systems recover sufficiently between sets, you're not gonna have the power or the force output to produce the strength building means necessary for the movement, right? All right, guys, 3rd set. If I get the press up on the 2nd one, I get it. If not, all I'm concerned with right now is the straight up freestanding press up coming into it from, not even from an L, right? Because when you see people going from an L and then rotating into it, it might look cleaner, but the L is just generating momentum for them to get their hips up higher. Here I'm trying to do it straight up, raising my hips, engaging the lower abdominals, piking straight up into it. Granted, I'm not getting a straight arm press, I'm still bent arm and pushing out of it, so I'm still getting the contraction on the shoulders, because none of my reps start at lockout. All my reps start down here, and then I press up out of it for the 1st rep. And then when I go back down, that would technically be the 2nd overall press up. Now, because that 2nd rep was almost, a failure rep, I'll give myself 5 minutes before getting into set 4. Let's get it. 4th set. Count that one, even though I didn't get the 2nd lockout. I got majority of the press up right there. I actually almost lost my balance and tipped over, which I will say this, if you're learning a handstand, especially freestanding on the P-bars, you have to fall. You have to learn how to fall, because once you fall, and if it's a bad fall, your body and your mind will learn what not to do. And most often will never happen again. As long as don't be scared to fall, especially when you're learning movements like this, guys. Let's go. And let me just say this, guys, touching back on the topic of me losing weight and feeling too skinny right now. And the fact of the matter is, I'll be the first to admit it, I definitely lost muscle mass too. When I was cutting throughout, let's just say June and July, the goal was to maintain as much muscle mass as possible. And I did pretty well at that. Like I said, around mid-July, I think I was in the best shape that I've been in probably years, right? Since my 20s, and that was the goal, right? I'm 37 this year. I wanted to be in better shape than when I was at 27. In July-ish, maybe end of July, beginning of August, I was in top performing shape. But again, the summer picks up, the calorie deficit was prolonged. I started playing more and more pickleball. The pickleball, like I said, it tapped into my eating schedule. So I started skipping meals. I was burning way too many calories that I could recover from. I was doing high repetition routines, endurance training here, guys. So it was literally almost a recipe for disaster in that matter. Did I know it was gonna happen? More likely I knew it was gonna happen, right? Because I've done this before. But I also mentioned to you guys, I didn't really care. I don't have any set physique or training goals right now. I was just enjoying my summertime, having fun playing pickleball, because I love to play sports, right? I love being competitive. And I'm not competing in calisthenics, so that was my competition on the pickleball court right there. And I'm still playing. But now I just got to tailor the training a little bit differently, right? So the training's got to be higher intensity, meaning harder sets, lower volume work for the time being, guys. Let's get into the 5th set. Didn't even want to try a press up or a negative there. The sets are going to get hard now. Like I said, I want 8 minimum. I'm 5 in and I'm feeling the fatigue in the shoulders. I trained handstand push-ups Saturday in Georgia and Friday in Georgia. Now, what I've noticed is that the more I'm training them, it's the same thing, right? I've always said this about handstands. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it, right? So the less often you train handstands, the skill's going to always be harder to attain and get back if you don't do them for a long time. The more often you train it, the better it's gonna get. I'm not training it to fatigue or failure every time, but I've been training it pretty often. In the last 5 days, it's my 3rd day training it. So the neurological patterns in my head are getting better and better. My body's becoming more efficient at the movement pattern, controlling the movement. Remember, guys, we've been walking on our legs since we're infants, right? There's no reason why you can't build the adaptability to get on your hands every single day. You just gotta build up. We didn't start as toddlers running. We started, the first time we tried to walk, we would fall. Then, we would crawl, stand up, fall, walk a little bit, fall, use a wall. It takes time, guys. Consistency is everything. Let's go. Let's go. 6th set. Look, if you guys want to master movements like this, like the handstand press up or skill movements, 1, 2, 3 sets of it is not going to cut it. You have to spend time training the movement pattern, because 1, it's a very central nervous system dependent movement, right? When you're training a skill, you have to build the nervous system recruitment patterns to be efficient at training it. And if you're only training it for 1, 2, 3 sets at a time, you're never gonna build that neurological efficiency. And your sets actually might get better as you go down the line in your training session. So I always recommend, guys, if you're trying to learn a skill like this, sometimes you might need to spend a whole training session, spend 1 hour, do 10 sets total. Remember, it's only 1 rep per set. So the volume is low, but the intensity is very high, meaning it's a skill move and it's hard. Well, at least for me it is, right? I'm only getting 1 press up and then an extra press up after it each set. So when the movements are that hard, right, and you're learning a skill, you have to do multiple sets of it. Minimum, I would say, is 8 sets, 8 to 10, and as you get more advanced and learn it better and better, 20 sets of 1. That's how you're gonna build in those neurological recruitment patterns and really master them. All right, guys, 7th set here. Again, some reps I'm gonna go for that second press up, some sets I'm not. As I'm getting towards the end of the routine right now, like I said, that was set 7. I gotta do a minimum of 8. If 8 goes good, I'll probably push for the 10. Again, more repetition, more practice, more central nervous system stimulation, more movement efficiency. You just get better and better at it the more you do it. But remember, this is training, but it's practice. If my reps are dirty here, I'm not gonna be getting efficient practice, right? So I'm keeping the reps as clean as possible. Shoulders are getting fatigued now, breaks are gonna stay minimum 5, probably close to 5-6 minutes now. If I'm hitting 8, 9, and 10, you know, like I said, sometimes you have to spend an hour just training one movement, right? 10 sets. If you're doing 10 sets of a skill movement, it's gonna take some time, guys, because you have to rest a sufficient amount of time in between each set to make sure you can hit the required set efficiently every single time. Let's go. All right, guys, 8 set. Let's go. All right, very happy with that. And what I'll point out, which I'm not sure if you guys are noticing, the reason why I'm only hitting the 1 press up this set, 7 set, as I'm getting into the rotation and transitioning into the handstand, my shoulders are dipping low now, right? If you want to have a strong press up when you're going into the transition, you want to keep your shoulders above 90 degrees. If when you're transitioning, the shoulders dip low, under 90 degrees, you're going to have a very deep, hard press up to get out of, which is how the press up was this set and on set 7. That's why that press up alone, it's still very stimulating for muscle building, right? I'm not going straight into a handstand lockout and then going into my first rep. My first rep is a press up. So it's basically like I'm starting in the stretch position, in the negative position ready, and then pressing out almost dead stop handstand reps there, guys. You're gonna build a ton of strength doing your training this way. I'll try for the 9th set. If I fail, I fail. I hit the minimum 8 sets right there. And again, all there is now to get better is just keep adding sets every time I train. So I hit 8. If I don't hit the 10 today, then I know next time I got to go for 9 and 10 in this manner, right? And then eventually you do sets of 2 instead of 1, right? And that's how you build volume. Instead of going 20 sets of 1, you could do 10 sets of 2. Same volume, harder way to do it, right? 10 sets of 2 is harder than 20 sets of 1. So as you get better and better, like I said, the efficiency, the movement pattern is going to become easier. You're just going to start to master it. That's how you master something, guys. Let's go. Go, guys. Set 9 right here. Let's fucking go. That's what I'm talking about. We're getting the 10th set. I've been taking so I got here just about 45 minutes ago. So 45 minutes, 9 sets in. So you can see, guys, you're gonna spend time, but if you're spending sufficient breaks, you're gonna be getting quality sets. You're gonna be drilling in that movement pattern. That's how you're gonna get the movement under your belt. Let's go. Let's get it, guys. 10th set, last set, best set. There again, last set I was able to go through some negatives, put more fatigue in the shoulders. I don't have any more sets to go, so adding as much stress to them as possible right there, under control. Now, one other thing I'm going to say, guys, 10 sets, like I said, took me just about 50 something minutes. Again, like I mentioned in the beginning, 10 sets, that's high volume. I did 10 reps. It took me 1 hour to do 10 reps, and if you want to say maybe 15, if you want to count some reps as 2 when I call it the press up and then the second rep press up. So maybe I call 15 reps in 1 hour. That's very low stress on the body. That's why you rest sufficient between the sets. Now, like I said, there's gonna be pull and push, or push we started with. Now we're getting into some pull work. You already know, guys, I love to superset handstands or just train together handstands and pulls. We're gonna go handstands to some weighted muscle-ups now. Very low volume again. Let's go. All right, guys, 10 sets, handstands done. So now we're gonna get in to some pull work. I got the 18-pound kettlebell on. Last time I tried weighted muscle-ups 2 weeks ago, I failed doing 25 when I was supposed to go for 25 pounds. The last time I hit clean reps was 20 pounds for singles. I'm gonna try to hit a 3x3 today with the 18. That'll be sufficient volume, still low volume, but nice PR volume for me here, guys. Staying at 2s, but those are super clean. I'll be happy if I catch 2 more sets of 2 just like that. I don't think I had any leg drive right there. I'm pretty sure I kept my legs as straight as possible. So let's check the film. All right, guys, third set. Again, I'm taking 5-minute breaks between these sets right here. All right, 3 sets of 2 weighted muscle ups done. Like I said, this push, pull, upper body routine, low volume. Very happy with the 3 sets of 2, especially after doing 10 sets. Muscle ups, they're gonna be very shoulder demanding as well. And my shoulders have a ton of fatigue from the handstand push-ups on them, obviously, guys. So we're gonna do 2 more pull movements, 1 set each to wrap up the routine. But we're gonna take them to failure here, guys. Remember, intensity is key, especially right now when I'm trying to put some size on. All I gotta do is get that intensity up, meaning the set's gotta be hard enough and going close enough to failure, and I'm gonna stimulate the muscles more than enough, right? I'm not looking to induce extra calorie burn or extra added stress onto the body right now. My boys are playing pickleball. I'm literally gonna go home, get my shit, and right after this, I'm having a shake and coming right back to play. So that's just how my routine's been lately. So real strength training in the routines now. You're not gonna be seeing much endurance work. And then while the season's still here for pickleball, I'll still be playing, guys. Let's go. All right, guys, like I said, 2 more movements. I'm just doing 1 set max effort on both of these. I'm gonna be doing an advanced tucked front lever, horizontal pulling right here, guys. Remember, you wanna sufficiently train your back, you gotta hit vertical and horizontal pulling. I just did the muscle ups, that's a vertical pull. I'm gonna do another vertical pull, but if I did my weighted pulls before this would have very little effort towards it, right? And this is a more full body engaging movement where I have to keep the core engaged, the hips up. So the volume on this is naturally gonna be lower just doing the body weight here, guys. Oh, holy shit. And you see I caught 15 reps there, but what I did was I did a mechanical drop set, meaning I started an advanced tuck with my hips open. That's more leverage, that's a bigger lever, harder pull, more stress on the lats. And as those got fatigued, I tucked up more, decreasing the lever, decreasing the mechanical tension on my lats, because now my lever arm is longer, and I was able to push out a few more repetitions. That's going pretty much again to complete failure. I might have had another couple pulls in me, pulling wise, but engagement wise, core wise, keeping the hips up, I was gonna lose it after that last rep right there, guys. So remember, you want the sets to be efficient and stimulating for the correct movement pattern. I couldn't drop my hips and start mimicking that movement because it would just be a whole new movement altogether there, guys. 1 more exercise, let's go. All right, guys, horizontal reps are done. Like I said, just 1 set. Finishing off, I got the 50 pounds strapped on. I'll be going to 3 bar, 1 set max reps here, where I'll end with some partials, and I may end up doing a drop set. It's only gonna be 1 total set of pull-ups here. So I can take it pretty far. As long as that intensity stays high, that's what I'm looking for, right? Stimulate the muscle. I don't need to stimulate it over and over and over again, set after set. That's more advantageous when you're in a calorie surplus. You have all that extra energy to utilize for the muscle building. Right now, I'm trying to eat more calories, but the fact, again, I'm still gonna be moving around a lot. So I'm just gonna try to keep the effort here as high as possible and the overall mileage, meaning volume, lower here, guys. So it's like, instead of me running marathons right now, I'm doing short sprints. Keep it rolling. Again, like I said, I'm gonna have fatigue built up from the muscle ups, from the horizontal pulling, going into the weight pose at the end. Lats are under fatigue. So you're inducing a fatigue inducing or an intensity principle prior to getting into the set, right? It's almost like a pre-fatigue set here. All right, guys, should we go to body weight? Let's go into the body weight. Like I said, it's one set. One set. All right, guys. That's a wrap for the routine. One main push, shoulder work, but 10 total sets of it, right? Only 10 reps. Hardest movement. It takes the most nervous system recruitment. It takes the most overall full body awareness, right? So you want to do that fresh. You want to do that in the beginning. Trying to do that after doing muscle ups and pulls and shit, your body's going to be fatigued. Your nervous system's going to be fatigued from these repetitions. And then going to try to train a movement like that, you're never going to be efficient at it, right? So 10 rounds of those done, 3 sets of muscle ups, 1 set of horizontal rowing, 1 big set of 3-bar pulls. And you're gonna notice, handstand push, we're in this neutral position, pressing up and down like this, working more on the sagittal plane. Same thing with these 3-bar pulls. But then the muscle ups, you get pronated, so variety. And then for the horizontal rowing, you're only really gonna be doing them either pronated or supinated. And supinated in that position, just for me, very awkward. I don't have that great wrist mobility. And I got big biceps, so enough variety to avoid overuse, different pulling movements, training in the frontal plane, sagittal plane. The only thing we really didn't touch is no transverse work, but you get a ton of transverse movement when you're playing sports, right? All the swings, those lateral rotations, things like that, guys. What's good, left? Like always, guys, I appreciate all the support. If you have a question or comment, leave in the comment section. Hope you've been enjoying the routines. Like always, guys, like the video, share with your friends and your family. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one. BARNATURALS.
They all love to talk, you know they do that shit the most. Think you on my level, boy, but you ain't even close.